Like this part of the connecting with your chakras is focusing on the throat chakra.
And the food that goes with the throat chakra is also the fruit. Fruit to do with your throat.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
And the colour blue.
And the throat is a connector, isn't it, between your mind and the last two chakras and the rest of your body. So it's a connecting space.
So it's also about expressing yourself very clearly. And I think that works for us as coaches, because it's about the mindfulness of being true to what you're saying. Like, you know, it's okay that we all talk the talk, but if you don't walk the talk, then, you know, you're not being true to yourself. So the key for us is that this is about speaking your truth from your throat chakra. Now, anyone who's been abused or in domestic violence or any sort of trauma state, you know, part of that journey of healing is learning to express yourself and owning your voice and saying what you feel and know to be your truth. It doesn't have to be everybody else's truth. It's your story, your truth. And that's why when you do a lot of therapy and a lot of counseling, people always talk about saying I statements. I feel. No one can take that off you or away from you. Once you own the fact that this is my statement and I feel this way, you know, if somebody tries to take that off you, it's not okay, because it's part of your healing journey is owning what you say, and that's from your throat chakra.
And the communication as well is just clear and being validated and being heard. Okay, it's a big thing with communication, frustration, anger, resentment, and it can go down back to the earlier chakras we've dealt with. Those, when it's not allowed to bubble forth, or all that things we've come through and come out and be communicated through the mouth, that causes illness and dis-ease, and it doesn't allow that full healing potential. So my angle on the throat chakra is, again, it's about speaking with clarity and being assertive and speaking up for yourself as well. So you're bringing things up. And just some other sayings like people say that your neck is on the line, okay, when it's a threatening situation. It's a very vulnerable part of your body, okay, and so is communication. That's how you communicate your vulnerability, by expressing it, don't you? Physically, we can show vulnerability by like lying down or lying with our hands in the air, but most of our emotional and spiritual vulnerability is processed and comes out through the mouth. So that's what I was saying. The other big thing with the throat for me is that it's the passageway between the body and the mind. So we've talked about body, mind and spirit. Well, it's actually the passageway between the body and the mind and spirit are up here. So it's important sort of thoroughfare. It's an important byway.
I think it's listening to the whole body experience, and that's what we keep talking to you about is about the key to make sure that it's a whole body experience. So your answers sometimes don't come in your voice and what you say, because that could be a conditioned, program, basically. You could be on a program that just plays play. You know, instead of playing play automatically, you know, check in with yourself and see where the answer's coming. Now, if you're in an uncomfortable situation, you know, you often feel it in the tenseness of your muscles, even in the back of your shoulders.
Oh, and your neck.
Your neck gets it. You know, your gut later on, even the next day, you know, you've got digestive problems. That's why it's key to listen to your whole body experience of where this stuff is happening, and to challenge yourself with the ideas of self-truth. It's really key as well to ask yourself, you know, am I going along with the flow? You know, what's the flow? You know, do I have to cut my hair because I don't fit into what society thinks is okay? And, you know, often I get so many people thinking that I'm some deadbeat stoner that just, because they assume something from my hair. And, you know, when I say, hey, I'm actually a scientist, and they're like, what?
Oh, yeah, to communicate.
It's the whole process of you know, talking then from my truth and saying to people to break through. I don't need to flow along. You don't need to follow along to be who you are. And this is the time to ask yourself, do you own where you're at?
That's being authentic as well, isn't it? Being able to speak your truth and being able to express your language and your experience it's about when people, there's a saying, when they have no voice, like you've got to speak your voice and claim sort of yourself. For me, language and expression are such a big part of it. As in the coaching modality, it's about being able to put succinctly those emotions and those feelings and those strategies and tools into words, not so much work booklets or tick and flick schedules and things like that. It's more getting a word-based understanding of vocabulary around it, so we can actually address the way because our thoughts and our words shape our thoughts. Our words shape our thoughts. So the language we're using really determines our thoughts. So I noticed it really clearly with people who there's words like hectic or overwhelmed, like they can use, or stressing out, stuff like that, or life sucks and then you die. If you have those little word plays that you repeat, they define your experience, and usually they're limiting. And the big ones, the simple ones, are words like should. It's prescriptive and it sets a judgment and a comparison. It's built into it. You should be doing this, or you should not have that haircut. Okay, and it's got a prescriptive tone that's dominating and commanding, and it's not actually expressive at all. So if we can avoid the use of the word should, same with the word but. But is usually it's a joining in a sentence to say, I love your hair, but, and it's actually the truth. It comes after but. So the first part is a big deception. Another one is using absolutes like always and never. People go, you always turn up late, or you never arrive on time. And it's just not true, because to always be late means you have never ever once been on time or early. Like a lot of the time, always and never are just fundamentally untrue in and of themselves. So avoiding absolutes is another way of getting your expression through your throat chakra to be less confronting and less putting off people, more sort of in alignment and more helpful for your process or what you're doing. And I also mentioned the tension in the neck is a really key. A lot of people hold tension in the neck, even in their shoulders, by this hunching or shortening the space between their ears and their shoulders. So if we can create space there, is really powerful. So the main thing I wanted with the throat chakra was just expressive communication and seeing just things as simple as this and having a good dialogue as a really helpful healing shape or healing process. Most people saying, oh, suck it up, princess, or just be quiet and get on with it, isn't helpful. If you can talk things through with someone who's like a trusted confidant, it can be really powerful. Even better is to talk with a coach or someone who has training in this setting, because they can hold space with you and they're doing it from a sense of no judgment, no comparison, lots of experience, but also there's no agenda. They're not trying to unseat you from your position in the family or undermine you in terms of someone else's relationship. They just, it's called, I was taught it was called lamppost life coaching, which is where you just simply listen and hold space with the other person, and they share their story up to this space, and you offer not much in terms of advice or direction or guidance, just simply to be a lamppost and to be another human being going, and making grunting sounds and nodding. And that can be so therapeutic, even though it may not seem like that, but it is such a therapeutic thing just to literally list and unpack your story and be heard, because that's not available to so many people.
Because people want to jump in, they want to give you advice, they want to tell you that you're doing it wrong, they want to say you should be doing it this way, you can't, why don't you? You know, people love to label and box you in. And that's so this throat chakra to us is about your wisdom, owning and expressing yourself really clearly. And it's the beautiful color blue, which is about your intelligence, about heaven, and just asking yourself from me, my question to you is to listen to your body, where your body is talking to you and giving you the answer. Scheduling time out for yourself and challenge your own ideas, your own self-limiting beliefs and self-talk. So I got a sore throat.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Yeah.
Challenging you to look at what is your truth. What are you telling yourself?
Coming back to
what
that
is the
idea of truth and questioning, having a questioning mind and not just going with the
flow,
the orthodoxy, the
mainstream,
the mainstream corporate marketing. A lot of it is marketing. It's not information. It's not education. It's just being led to believe some sort of process or some sort of plan that's related to some sort of product.
Selling,
that may not specifically suit you at all, but it definitely suits them for you to play along with that story. So always questioning, but having that balance with the lower chakra, with the solar plexus, with the anxiety, not over questioning to the point of paranoia or paralysis analysis, but still having a questioning mind. And so as you go through things, you are aware. It's the general idea of awareness through communication.
Dropping the shit labels and stuff like that, and just seeing yourself actually naked. So it's called the naked truth.
That's the
seeing
same.
Your naked truth, really. And so my question, stripped naked, is I communicate with ease. That's my affirmation for the throat chakra. I communicate with ease. I express myself
clearly and simply,
and I have a voice.
Yeah, it's powerful. It's really powerful to have that and to know you can, because so many of us feel slighted or diminished or not able, or people say everyone's entitled to their opinion as though their opinion is worthless, when often it's not so much about owning an opinion or being entitled to anything. It's just sharing in a non-judgmental, for some non-judgmental feedback, and being listened to and heard without feedback. We don't need feedback. It's just to go, here's my process, I'm unpacking it, and then to go, and that's it. It can be that simple. It doesn't have to be a big ground shift every time.
I think that's one thing too in a relationship. When you're in a relationship, it's really key. Like the throat chakra also talks about balancing the yin and the yang, and that's the male and female and the energy cycle of that. So the key is also not to label males as different to females. I mean, sometimes we have this concept that males always want to fix everything. Look, some males do, but so do some females. So we can't keep just constantly putting people in boxes. I think that's key as well. So when we're looking at the yin and yang and the balance of this throat chakra, we need to look at, that we do accept and that we're all unique and individual, regardless of whether we're a male or a female, gender, any, sexual orientations, anything like that. So I think it's key to be mindful of being able to speak your truth and being heard. That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
This is key. This throat chakra is really asking that we all step up and stop giving advice and start listening.
And be confident enough to, here's another one, stick your neck out and be vulnerable and know that it won't be judged or compared, and it's just literally is just sharing.
Sharing.
Okay.
So, share away.
Thank you.